Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, but when I was 22 years old, I managed to save my first $10,000 from a job that was paying me $8 an hour. Granted, I didn't have that many bills at the time and I was living at home, but regardless, a 22-year-old making $8 an hour figured out how to save $10,000. And if my underdeveloped 22-year-old brain could figure that out, then I believe if you set your mind to it, you can also save $10,000 regardless of your income. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process that allowed me to save $10,000 by showing you 7 different steps that got me there. And if you follow these 7 steps, you will eventually reach $10,000. Now, the first step is extremely simple. Open a high-yield savings account. Now, this first step is extremely simple, but it's possibly one of the most important things. In order to reach $10,000, you have to have a designated spot where you put your money. Where your spending money is in a checking account and your saving money is in a savings account. And it's so important to have this separate account because it allows you to keep track of how much you have saved and not confuse saving money with spending money. So before you do anything, open up a savings account. And ideally, you want an account that has no fees and a high interest rate. And some good savings accounts that are on the market right now are Ally that has no fees and an interest rate of 4.25%, or SoFi that has no fees and an interest rate of 4.5%. And once you choose a good bank and open up a savings account, we can move on to our second step, make a copy of the free spreadsheet. Now, this next step is just as easy, but also extremely important. In order to create goals, track your progress, and stay organized, I created a free spreadsheet that is linked in the description that looks like this, where there are some things you need to fill out, a couple tables, and your progress and an estimated timeline to reach your goal of $10,000. And we're going to go through all this, but for right now, you just need to make a copy. And to make a copy, click on the link in the description, which will take you here. Then go up here to File and Make a Copy. And thanks to the collaboration of Google and El Augustine, you now have your 100% free spreadsheet that is going to help you reach $10,000. Ain't Augustine nice? He ain't even begging people for likes. But now that we're all set up, we can begin filling out this spreadsheet and move on to our third step, input your starting balance. So depending on who you are, you might already have a savings account with money in it, or you're about to open up a savings account and put some money in it. And so the first thing we need to do is if you open up the spreadsheet, in this purple box right here, you need to input how much money saved you are starting with. Let's say I have $1,000 saved. I will input $1,000 in the box. Or if you have nothing saved, simply put 0. Whatever you have saved, even if it's nothing, input it in this box. And what you're going to notice, because I am so nice, is if you look at the yellow table right here, you will notice this chart automatically populate as you fill out the spreadsheet, where as we put in $1,000, it shows our current amount saved as $1,000 and our amount remaining as $9,000. Just call me the wizard of Google Sheets, the wizard that don't charge a single dollar. Now, once you do that simple step, then we can move on to step 4, determine how much you can contribute a month. All right. Up to this point, everything has been extremely simple, but now it's time to get a little bit more technical. In order to reach $10,000, you need to determine a dollar amount, a specific dollar amount that you can afford to set aside each month consistently. And this monthly contribution needs to be a realistic number where you can consistently set aside every single month for a long period of time. Because the problem that most people have with saving money is they decide to be overambitious and contribute an extremely large amount of money. But then they can't consistently set aside that amount of money and give up. In order for this to work and reach $10,000, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to determine a realistic amount of money that you can set aside every single month consistently. And figuring out this number is something that's going to take time, and it varies from person to person. But I'd recommend that you watch my budgeting video where I talk about tracking your expenses, cutting spending, and budgeting. That video can help you to determine a realistic amount of money that you can afford to set aside each month consistently. But once you determine that number, let's go back to that spreadsheet and look at this green box right here that says monthly contribution and input how much money you can set aside. For example, let's say I can set aside $300 a month. I'll put in $300 here. And again, if you look off to the side at this yellow table right here, it will automatically populate and you will see how long it will take to reach your goal. For example, if I saved $300 a month, it would take me 30 months or 2.5 years to reach $10,000. And although this seems like a long time, this is what separates Augustine from other people on YouTube. I live in something called reality. The reality is $10,000 is a lot of money, and despite what people say on the internet, it is going to take quite a bit of time to save that amount of money. But by having this chart, we know exactly how long it's going to take to get there. We're living in reality. See what I'm saying? So now that we determined how much money we can afford to set aside each month, let's move on to our fifth step. Contribute to savings account and record it on the spreadsheet. So now that you determined how much money you can set aside each month, the next thing you need to do is put it into practice. So simply, whenever you get paid, the first thing you do is take out that money from your paycheck, which for me is $300, and put it in a savings account. And consistently do that over time. And the other thing you need to do is record it on that spreadsheet. So let me show you how. On this blue table right here, once you put the money in your savings account, you record it here. For example, I'll put August 2023 and $300, September 2023 and $300, October 2023 and $300. You simply just record it to track your progress and hold yourself accountable. And one thing that you'll notice is at the bottom of the table, your total will also populate here. And on the yellow table, the information will also automatically populate. And if we look back at that yellow table, after 3 months of saving, I now have $1,900 saved and $8,100 remaining in 27 months until I reach $10,000. I did all the heavy lifting to create these formulas. All you need to do is spend 1 minute every single month to fill out this table, and everything else will fill out itself. It will automatically populate. I am the wizard of Google Sheets. Remember. But if we look back at that yellow chart, remember we have 27 months until we reach $10,000. And that's if we're only sticking to our monthly contribution of $300. However, there is a way to speed up the process while still living in reality, which brings me to my sixth step: make and record extra contributions. All right, if you want to speed up the process and reach your goal of $10,000 quicker, you have to make extra contributions outside of your monthly contribution. And how do you do that? Well, I think that no matter who you are, we all have these moments throughout the year where we receive extra money, whether that's through a tax return, a side job, or even birthday money. It's money that isn't tied to your normal pay. It's extra money that you receive. And if you can save some of that extra money, you can reach your goal of $10,000 much quicker. So for example, let's say you got some tax return and you decide you could contribute $1,000. The first thing you do is move that money to your savings account. And next, you need to record it on your spreadsheet. So let's go back to that spreadsheet and let me show you how. On the brown table right here, we will record the extra money we received that we can save. For example, for that tax refund, I put tax refund in $1,000. Say I helped someone install flooring and can contribute another $500, or got birthday money and can contribute $100. Whatever extra money you receive, put it in your savings account and record it on your spreadsheet. This is going to help speed up the process a lot quicker. When I saved my first $10,000, a lot of it, a huge helper, was from tax returns. And if you look back at that table, the total automatically populates, which is an extra $1,600. And with these extra contributions, we now have $3,500 saved and 22 months remaining. We cut off 4 months by contributing a little bit more. This is how you speed up the process. Now, the final step is be consistent and patient. I saved my first $10,000 when I was 22 years old and I was working at a minimum wage job, Panera Bread, ladies and gentlemen, but it took a long time to do. And the reality is, if you want to actually reach that goal of $10,000, it's going to take time. And in that time, you have to be consistent and patient. And if you're not consistent and patient, it won't work. But if you are, I can guarantee you, if you follow this method, you will eventually reach $10,000. And $10,000 is a great amount of money to have saved. And one final thing I wanted to mention is that if you're from a different country with a different currency and different goals, you can easily alter this spreadsheet to work for you. For example, let's say you're from Vietnam and your goal is to save 100 million dong. All you need to do is simply go to the spreadsheet and look at this red box right here and change the goal to 100 million dong. And all the tables would automatically adjust. I'm looking out for everyone, not just these Americans. They only consist of 40% of my audience anyways. But regardless of where you're from, that is how you save $10,000 on any income. And I wish you the best on your journey to 10,000. I hope this video helped. And with that, muchas gracias. Que tenga un buen día. Just gotta edit this video and I am good to go for my vacation in Florida next week. Nos vemos, chicos.